everyone, and welcome to These Days. I'm your host, Barb Keidel, and it's my pleasure to be here again with you this evening. We have two great guests for you, one of whom has been here a few times already, actually several times. Steve Schappert, how are you?
Good, Barb.
And our friend tonight to join him is Greg Russo. Welcome. So, gentlemen, it's so great to have you here this evening. Steve, you're involved in BIOS energy systems,
Yep.
and a lot of other things. Greg, you're getting involved in something called the Good Word along with Steve. And maybe we can share a little commentary with our audience about a little bit about yourselves. You can tell us a little bit about your backgrounds, how you've known each other, and how you got together for this great evening tonight. So, Steve, let us know a little bit about yourself and BIOS Energy and what you're doing right now.
Well, BIOS Energy is just one little piece of what we do, and most of BIOS Energy is really focused on this car project that I've been working on for the last 2 years. It's a 72 Mustang. It's got a hydrogen generator in it.
Right.
We've gotten it up to a 58% increase in gas mileage, and now we're putting a new system in it that may have the technical ability to run the car completely on water. And I say may because, you know, it's a theory. We've got to prove the reality.
And you're working on it.
We're working on it.
And
Right.
Greg, tell us a little bit about who you are. This is Greg Russo. What would you like our audience to know?
Let's see, I'm a musician, I'm a pastor and ex-contractor, and I met Steve, how many years ago?
It's got to be at least 10. Back when we were building houses.
Back when we were
And there was
both
a
in
market.
construction, and since then, I've pastored a church in Danbury for 5 years, and
wonderful.
now I kind of doing itinerant work and doing a little traveling.
What church are you pastoring? Are you currently pastoring?
No, I'm just itinerant now.
Okay, that means you go from around and as invitations
I'm
come
free
to
to
you?
travel and
Oh, wonderful.
not have to deal with too many of the problems that go along with tending a flock.
Yes, I'm sure the flock needs a lot of tending.
Yes, yes, yes.
So the two of you now are doing what? Let's talk a little bit about what's currently happening with you and Greg.
Well, I think, you know, we'll start with like how we ran into each other again.
Yeah,
we
let's
were
hear
at a
that.
restaurant in Brookfield, and I was doing marketing for RWs, and why did you walk in?
Music stuff.
Music. So bumped into him, knew him, gave him my card for marketing. Months go by, he calls up because he's now selling insurance at the insurance center in Danbury, right? Bethel, okay. Called me up because I had given him my marketing card.
Yeah.
We started talking, and he wanted to get together and see what I could do in terms of marketing for him. We had lunch.
Okay.
I brought a copy, the ugly original first copy of the Good Word, and we start chatting, and then he mentions again that he's a pastor, and he's looking at the title Good Word, and we're like, oh, okay, well, you know, how do we spin that? And so he's actually going to start doing some writing for us as our columnist. We haven't come with the official title yet, but it's, you know, the faith column, I guess. We keep talking. He's looking at the ugly edition, which I can call ugly edition because, you know, I designed it.
Yes,
to start
all right.
with.
You can say that about your design.
So then it went to this, looked a little better. And Greg mentions that his wife does graphic design
Why don't
and
you
had
hold
worked.
this up by your chest so we can get in onto the Good
This
Word.
this is the version that Greg's wife
can aim it
Amy.
this way.
Let's see, we'll go like that.
Yes, there
that
it
Amy
is.
just designed for
Keep
us.
that
And you
there.
can see it's kind of night and day. She had worked at the Taunton Press for many years,
Oh,
where
really?
my father had
Look at
worked.
this.
So it was all this
Oh.
stuff going on in association. So Amy is now going to be our graphic designer for the
Excellent.
Good Word. Greg is going to do some writing, and
Let's find out about the Good Word. What is the word about the Good Word? Let's hear.
the Good Word is this publication. It will go out to 100,000 people per territory. We're
Okay.
opening up the greater Danbury, New Milford area
All right.
right now. And part of what I'm doing with Greg, helping him with marketing, is showing him how to, you know, put his insurance business in the Good Word that he's also, you know,
Going to
writing
be
for
writing
us.
about, right, Greg?
So
Exactly.
every business in town will get several copies of this to set them up as distributors. So he's actually able to earn income from selling advertising in the Good Word while he's selling insurance, and he's writing the faith column, so he's able to spread the good word about the Good Word.
Yes.
That was,
so good for you. What are some of your ideas for your column?
Some of my ideas. Well, let's see. When we got together, he failed to say that we were completing each other's sentences. He would have a thought, and I would have a thought, and it would go back and forth, and it was like he needed this, and I said I was talking about, and it just kept going one to another. So it was kind of like you could tell it was not an accident. It was more a planned event.
Yeah,
and,
I like that. Yeah,
it was very nice to see the way things came together, and exciting because all of a sudden, there was opportunity to do something good and to spread some good word and some good seed. And my pastoral take on everything is a little bit different than most churches. I have a very happy God, and
I hope so. Yeah.
a very non-judgmental God, and I think that comes along with the good word is that it's a happy God that wants people to come home, and it's not about anything we do or don't do. It's about everything he's done, and that there are many ways, and it's not about judging others. It's about loving and loving, and I think that's the biggest key to what we're trying to do. I think with the whole fest, the GreenFest that's coming up, it's multicultural, multi-denominational, just a bunch of people coming together with good news. Not with anything coming down on people.
No, and that's wonderful that the two of you can put this together. And I think, from your past history together, you know each other. And then that meeting and the sharing of the card and then getting in touch was the connection.
Yes.
And now it's coming to pass. So in terms of what Greg mentioned, the GreenFest, can you tell us how this all fits in and remind our viewers about the GreenFest? Let's hear about it.
Well, we'll start out by saying GreenFest is going to be July 20th to the 22nd.
Okay.
July 20th to the 22nd, not June 22nd to 24th. We were originally scheduled, correct, we were scheduled for June 22nd to 24th, but call it an act of God. Basically the stage blew down back, I think in November, and between the insurance companies and the city and getting everything scheduled and making sure that the money's going to be there and everything lined up. June 22nd, there will be a safety fence around half of the green, and the city goes, there's no festival going on because of liability issues. So you have the initial heart attack, and then you go, well,
we can make this work.
We can make this work because we really just put the concept of the good word together, but I really, at that day, which was, theoretically 2 weeks before GreenFest, didn't have any advertisers in the good word.
So there's the connection.
Now I've got a whole other 6 weeks instead of 2 weeks to get advertisers to promote it,
to design it,
run in, to run into Greg and meet the wife that can actually design it to make it look like a professional publication and go,
now it's working.
It makes sense.
So, Greg, now what is your take on getting involved in all of this? In terms of your meeting up again, which you did describe, and what you plan to do, how is this affecting your life right now?
Exciting again. It puts passion back in, and that's it's always the thing that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a drive, and what's going to make me feel alive, and what makes me feel alive is letting people know the good word, letting people know the good news, letting people know the happy God that I know, seeing people get touched, seeing people get healed. Those are the things that
make it work for you.
Make it all worthwhile.
Because that's your passion.
Yeah. Exactly.
In addition to your other, work that you do, to make a living, your calling is probably what you've just said, right?
Yes.
And your music, tell us about your music. How does this fit in, or is this just a separate part of your life? It's connected, of course. What kind of music do you do?
Well, I've done everything, originals. I've done a CDs. Now I'm playing with a band called Candlewood, named after the lake.
Yeah.
And we're playing a lot in local areas, local venues, Coyote Maverick. That's how I actually bumped into you. I was at RW's, and I started talking to Ron at RW's about the music stuff and the band, and now we're at Coyote Mavericks with a house band there, so I play there every 2 weeks, and
Oh, how nice.
which is a lot of fun because I meet people and they're like, "You're a pastor and you're in a bar and you're playing music and you're
Hey.
having fun. What is going on?" And I say, "Well, you know, last time I looked through the Bible, that's the way it was supposed to be. I don't know where we came up with this other model of sitting being unhappy
Or
trying to get out."
yeah, you have to communicate with the people.
That's
That's
it.
what it's all about. So your
exactly.
music, of course, will draw people in, and then whatever else happens around that format. So, Steve, are you planning with Greg to do some music at GreenFest? That's what I'd love to hear about.
I actually had scheduled Sunday morning to do kind of a mixed faith
Okay.
gathering. And I sent emails out to 26 local religious leaders, not one return call or email.
Did you send the
Nobody.
flyer of GreenFest? I'm sure you
handed
did
out-
everything.
I physically handed out a few to a couple of churches, but I was just amazed that nobody wanted to have anything to do with each other.
That's
The
sad
whole
thing.
philosophy behind BIOS is creating a philosophy that will bond all race, creed, color, and religion. And if you can't even get the religious leaders to stand on a stage and acknowledge each other's as human beings, and the idea was, what can we all do together? What pieces can all the different
Contribute,
religions
yeah.
contribute to just stand there and help the world
Help
bond?
the people. So, I mean, I know that I'm kind of surprised that you're saying this because, in my opinion, I've seen more people coming together like that. What do you think, Greg?
Pastors tend to be very territorial, and they're afraid that they're going to lose people, typically, to different
Yeah.
groups, so
Yeah.
they tend to be very protective, and they tend to think they have it figured out. And I like to say it's the I don't know of faith. I think the first step of faith is I don't know. I don't know how the universe was created. I don't know how things
Right,
happen. I don't know
right.
why bad things happen to good people. I don't know, but that leads me into my faith and believing in something I can't comprehend.
Something greater than ourselves.
Something much bigger than me. I can't put him in a book or a box.
No.
I can't figure it out. But I know that there's something out there that's not me, and I'm not going to get my mind around it in this lifetime.
I agree.
But what I can do is I can present love, and I can present love and not judgment. And I go out and I minister to people of all different races, including
Any and all people.
Any and all,
that
because
you would probably not even be thinking about in the big picture, right?
Exactly.
Thinking that maybe they're not connected to anything, but they do want to be connected, and this whole situation is
And they all
about
need
that.
to know that they're loved, and that's the key, And I think that's the biggest part of everything we do. It's just about teaching people honor, respect, and love. And if I don't agree with you, that's okay. I don't have to change you. I don't have
That's
to change your
right.
belief system.
Yeah.
I'm okay with your belief. I don't have to convert you.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about that, acceptance of one another.
Exactly.
So when we're talking about GreenFest here, and your philosophy is to bring people together as well,
Right.
maybe not so much on the spiritual, but the physical connection.
definitely
It is
on the,
spiritual, it's
there's
physical,
a
and
huge
there's a
spiritual
Yeah,
element to the
there
whole
is.
BIOS concept, and it's really just starting to gel because it was, it's about energy and moving the world forward. And
Yeah.
if you're going to do that, you really have to bring everybody
Yeah.
together.